And going back to Google Weddings a little bit, can you tell us a little bit about the different tools that are available with Google Weddings and how these can be helpful too? So I
Yeah,
can
I mean Google simply wants you to use their tools, and they were smart enough to um, take a set of tools and organize them specifically on one site. So it's Google Docs, and those will help you manage the business of the wedding, your guest list, anything, RSVPs, tables, and you can customize them completely, and that's what's unique about them. And I think what I've also heard a lot of feedback about is, they really speak to the guys because it's much more straightforward, and I couples have had an easier time communicating around things like budget and guest list because the documents come in a format that men understand, and I think that was a really fun fact to get out of it.
and it probably doesn't have any. It's not a lot of flowers around it and everything, so
Right,
they don't feel like
right,
it's it's
right.
more
Like you're not
masculine.
exactly. You're not. I mean, I think again, it doesn't. People are like, wow, it's product driven. I said it is. It's really meant to be a useful tool, and so I think a lot of guys have said, it's kind of intimidating to have to fish through the wedding sites and
Hmm.
all this stuff pops up, kind of like the fun house, you
Sure.
know, when in this one it's very straightforward. So you've got the Google Docs, you have the photo management program with Picasa, and you have we made templates for being able to make your own announcements, save the dates. They all match, and you can print them on your own computer. You can send them out professionally. So it's meant to organize things in one place and have it be very simple and straightforward. And their response was overwhelming.
Hmm.
It is Google. They have great reach.
Hmm.
60% of the people that responded was global, not from US, which I
Oh,
think is wonderful. Um,
that fits well
and
with your business as well, since
yeah, and
you're
they
more of a
wanted,
global
I
business.
think they
That's
wanted a
interesting.
million impressions in the first month, and they
Wow.
got them in like 2 weeks.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So people are hungry for information, and some people prefer to be in one type of format, but clearly this really spoke to people across the boards. I think it's very simple to digest, and again, completely customizable. So the reason that was important for me is technology for destinations is critical. I don't know what
Hmm.
we did before this.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
know what you did before BBM. I don't know what you did before the ability to Google Map something and
Hmm.
Skype with clients and get to know vendors internationally this way. I mean, I honestly, I don't know what we did. So it was a perfect partnership. It is a perfect partnership for me in that way because technology helps me be a better planner and helps us be more successful. It makes things go in seconds versus weeks. It has me set up my site inspections and be much stronger when I arrive. Move through information much more quickly, and also for destination, you can customize the documents. So a lot of the forms that you're going to find out there aren't specific to, is it in euros if you have to, fix your budget. So
Hmm.
you can take all the little pieces and parts and make it specifically for your event. So I
Oh,
think
that's
that's
great.
really important.
Yeah, that's great. And when nearlyweds are looking at Google Docs, I mean Google Weddings, and they first come on there, where should they start? Where do you think is a good place to start?
They've made it really simple because what they've done is they've featured the products on the homepage. So there are three very specific sections to go into, and I mean it is incredibly straightforward. It's intuitive, really. You don't have to go fish around to figure out what to do. I mean, they tell you exactly what they're offering and how to get there. And then they're also very responsive. Like I've had two people over the course of the since the launch say, "Hey, I didn't really get the navigation on one thing, and I connected them with something somewhere in customer service there." And they turn around and they'll speak to someone if their programming is not working. So
No, that's great. That's
yeah.
great. Do you have any tips or tricks that brides should know when using the Google Wedding planning tools? Anything that you found is really useful for you?
Well, I mean, I think the toughest conversations to get through, the two hardest things in any wedding, I feel like I could teach a course on it, would be guest list and budget.
I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, it is like, it's, I don't even know how to, I mean, you sort of feel like you get into the land of the lost when you do these two things. So my tips for people are use the, not only that they're customizable, but you can communicate in real time. Mm-hmm. So if your father's in Italy and you're in Jersey City, New Jersey, you can set up a live conversation with a document and actually get everybody on the same page at the same time. So I think that's really exciting. I would use them specifically for budget and specifically for guest list, because they have a program where you can send out an email and it culls all the information for you, which I think is critical. Very tough because kids are all over the place. They don't have landlines. Mm-hmm. You can't even find young people anymore. You know, so we're moving very quickly into the digital space, and this is much more, I think, in time with what's going on for young people.
I think doesn't it even have a form where your guests can go and actually put their information in, and it feeds into your guest list document, which is great.
Drops right into your document.
Which is great. So that way you're not hunting down every single address. You can send out one little email and say, make sure we have your updated address.
It's right. And I think that, look, it used to be that, save the dates are really the brainchild of papery companies. That's not really the way we did things from the beginning of the time. I mean, you just got an invitation. So, okay. And for destinations, save the dates are a huge help, mm-hmm. because it really allows people to anticipate their finances, and I get that. But now the wedding website is a bigger tool. Yeah. And so they also have the wedding websites on Google. And, digital invitations are becoming far more PC, save the dates, far more PC because it's paperless. And you're able to drive them to a website that you've thought about. And, so I think things are moving a little bit more towards a streamlined communication, and then put your dollars into an invitation.
Right. That's a great point. Especially when you're trying to manage that tight budget.
Papery can be very, very pricey, and it's unexpected because, it's mm-hmm. one of the first things that you do. And people don't realize when they're like, oh, I like shiny, I like metallic, I want it this, I want it that. Next thing you know, they've fallen in love with something they can't afford. Right. And it's hard to talk somebody out of the first thing they're sending out to people. So, you can end up spending double on papery.
Right, absolutely. And we see that most budgets end up exploding anyway.
Yeah. Yep.
Oftentimes.
Yeah, whatever it is. When I say whatever you think it is, add 40 to 50%.
Oh wow, okay. Usually I go with 20 or 30, but 40 to 50.
No, I'd say 40. Oh, for destination.
You're probably right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. With the launch of Google Weddings, there was also a wedding giveaway. Can you tell us a little bit about the winners and how you're working with them and their wedding?
They are so adorable. They just went back to Texas. They are an adorable young couple from Texas, and they came to New York this past week, and we spent 2 days. Yeah, it was great. We spent 2 days together, and we have reviewed their entire design with them. We're helping them identify very sweet things, about them that we can integrate into the actual wedding and ceremony and reception. I helped them. We went over to Kate's Papery and we picked out their wedding invitation together. So they're just sweet and really excited and super thrilled to have won this, $25,000.
Amazing. And are they getting married in Texas or?
Yeah, that's where they're from. Right. Yep. And there's let me think. They're having maybe close to 300 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Well, we'll be looking forward to seeing the photos from that wedding for sure.
Yeah.
See how everything came together.
And helping them sort of, with the resources that they have, helping mm-hmm. them best use of budget, best way to allocate resources. I think most people just don't, so many young kids don't necessarily, we don't really teach our kids to entertain. So it's such a new muscle. And, you know, if they don't, sometimes they listen to their parents, sometimes they don't. So, you know, you sort of become coach.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. That's a great point.
Yeah.
And well, while you're working with them, I assume the Google wedding docs have really come in handy since they're in Texas and you're in New York, and being able to collaborate.
Yeah, and we're working on ways in which we can really fully integrate them into, you know, our services and our partners. So we're doing some work right now. I really believe in them, and I think, of course, my mother was obsessed with Google Docs like for 2 years, and when she heard, it was like a month of her calling me. She's like, does all the fundraising for the senior center in Princeton, and she's used to, you know, Google Docs religiously. So
that's interesting.
It's like she landed on the moon, you know.
That's funny.
Oh, really fun.
That's
and
great.
that day, and do you remember, you know, and all that.
It's funny. We had,
I don't know, some Italian invite, the more money it costs.
Yeah. So when do you expect that to be available, the honeymoon registry? I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see that.
Thank you.
Anything else coming up soon? What's next? What should we be looking for from Michelle Rago, LTD?
Well, I have we're producing a wedding in Mexico at Maroma in June with a really just adorable couple, and we're so excited to do that one. It's going to be a really fun one. And we've got this summer, we've got some projects on the Eastern Seaboard, some really great decor projects. One in Massachusetts, and I'm really excited. Very sort of Great Gatsby, very beautiful wedding. Yeah, it'll be, that one's sort of a quintessential New England design project. We have a really fun wedding in September in Western Connecticut on a gorgeous property. So I'm excited. We're going to get some really nice images and visual projects coming out of it. You know, I'm always tapping my toe for the next destination. Where are we going to go? Right now, I know we're headed to Provence on a site inspection for this summer for next year. And I've never done a wedding there. So I've been, you know, of course, yesterday I was, you know, sitting in bed, like Googling images of Provence. I was like, okay, that's good. So, I mean, aside from really supporting the partnerships that we have right now between Google and Distinctive Honeymoons and focusing on the product line, that, you know, that's a tall order for me through the end of the year. And I want to, you know, do those things well and take good care of our clients. And, you know,
that's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yep, it is. And I feel really grateful to be in this place. So just want to do it all to the best of my ability.
Well, we can't wait to see everything that comes. Very exciting. And I thank you so much for talking with us today.
Well, thank you. It's my first Skype interview.
It's been great. It's been wonderful.
It's a little freaky looking at your picture when you're talking.
Yeah, it's not. I know. I have to keep going like this. I got to stop that.
So anyway, but thank you, and we'll speak soon.
And thank you.